March 29, 10:12 AM, prison, courtyard. Hello everyone, Triple S back with some more Ace Attorney Investigations, Edgeworth Prosecutor's Path. This is the last part of the imprisoned turnabout. We have a short investigation, then a long investigation, then a short testimony and a long testimony, then we'll be done. So we'll see if this video will also take 2 hours like other ones have been before, 'cause how can I make these things so... It's all the dialogue, that's the main thing, it's just all the dialogue. Right, if you look at the guide, it just looks short, but it's all the dialogue. Anyway, let's get going, we should find out who did the murder today. The courtyard, depending on what we find here, the entire incident could become clear. However, there's nothing left here. Yesterday. Isn't there one more possibility? The well in the courtyard. It's possible the body was dropped down from there. In other words, the body being dropped down the well and then moved to the workroom could only have been done during the show. And the only one who could have done it is Simon Keyes. Was the body dropped down the well or not? This could be the decisive clue that we need to reach the truth of the matter. Before I continue with the investigation, I should organise my evidence. Necessary evidence has been removed, remaining evidence has been rearranged. Let's see here. Hey, there's a grate here. The well has run dry after all, they even put a lock on it. Lock picking is one of my specialties, wanna see? There's absolutely no need for you to show off. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Whoa. What happened, Kay? The lock is broken. Judging from the looks of it, it feels like it was broken some time ago. So the lock was broken. This means that anyone could have dropped the body down this well. According to Judge Courtney's reasoning, Mr. Keyes murdered Knightley in the courtyard. Then, during the show, he disposed of the body in the well. You think so? Did he really use the well to move the body? I know. Let's get Miss Owl to help us out again. You should be able to track the scent of the body. Good idea. Let me contact Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe here. Detective, I have a favour to ask of you. We would like for you to bring Miss Owl to the prison courtyard. Sounds like you need the help of one of my 7 secret weapons again, huh, sir? I thought Missile belonged to the police department. And also, I would like for you to contact a witness. Please contact Regina Berry at the Berry Big Circus and bring her here. Roger that, sir. I'll bring them over in a flash. So, what should we do while we wait for Gummy? How about some hide and seek? What are you talking about, Kay? There's nowhere to hide here. I don't think that is the issue. Okay, during times like this, isn't it your turn to shine? Oh, that! You want me to recreate the crime scene? Huh? How do you do that? See for yourself. The great thief's secret weapon, Little Thief. I was wondering when they were going to show up. Whoa! What's that? Screen's floating in mid-air. Just what are you doing, Kay? I'm entering the information needed for the simulation. Mr. Shields, this Little Thief is a tool that can recreate a crime scene based on the information it is given. Should I set it for how this place was like when we came here yesterday? Yes, I believe they were in the middle of taking down the set. We didn't pay enough attention to the well, so it's possible we may have missed a clue. Leave it to me. I took a picture of the place too. There, and there. Data entry complete. Now to set the projection to maximum output. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing, one alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. What? What just happened? I recreated the courtyard from yesterday, based on the information I entered. This was a tool the previous Athagasu used. It's a device to run simulations to practice stealing things. But using this manner, we can inspect the crime scene as it was in the past. but it's still only a recreation based on what information we have. I can't recreate what I don't have information for, and if my information is incorrect, the recreation could come out strange too. In this case, since Kay had the photo, there should be no problems. Now let's begin the investigation. Finally. Begin investigation, prison courtyard. Since it's a recreation, you can examine things just like you always do. You can even present evidence when you find a contradiction. Yes, I know. First, I should start with that well. Let's go, okay. Well. Let's examine the area around the well. It holds the key to this case. So we'll look at the actual well. The well was behind the stage. That means only a few people would have access to dump the body in the well during the performance. This isn't looking good for Mr. Keys. Yeah, not great. I think it's this weight. This is a metal weight. It weighs... It's hard to see in the recreation. Okay, do you remember? I think it was 33 pounds. Logic, 33 pounds, 15 kilogram weights. Metal weights placed near the well. Each one weighs 33 pounds, 15 kilograms. Logic added. I wonder what such a heavy thing was used for. Doesn't seem to be directly related to the circus. There's a rope here. It's a sturdy hemp rope. Looks like the rope they use for tug-of-wars. I'm not going to play tug-of-war with you. I didn't even say anything yet. There's a metal stake attached to the end of the rope. Ah, you use these to pin down the tents when you go camping. Doesn't seem like they'd need this for the performance. Wonder what it was used for. Strange. But there's these pulleys here. Huh? There are some pulleys here. They don't appear to be the pulley that was used to lift the bucket from the well. These things around the well, what were they used for? Tools around the well, pulleys, metal weights and ropes. What could they be used for? Logic added. They don't seem to be related to the animal show. I agree, we can ask Miss Berry about it later. Okay, we're done here. We're gonna go talk to the elephant. Astique! You big girl, how are you? What was the elephant's name again? She's Astique of the Asian Elephants. Astique the Elephant, star of the show, along with Regent the Tiger and Simon. Logic added. Ah, that's right. It's an easy name to remember. Maybe they couldn't think of a good name, so they gave her a name that's easy to remember. Mr. Edgeworth, what a terrible thing to say about poor Astique. That's all the information we can gather for now. The detective should be here soon too. Okay, go ahead and shut down Little Thief. Alright, returning the area to normal. Investigation complete. That was a quick investigation. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Hey, Sticker the Gummy. Dirty Gumshoe. That was quick. I couldn't keep you waiting for too long, sir. Thanks for coming along too, Regina. No problem. It sounded like fun, so I skipped practice to come here. Thank you for your cooperation. First, Detective, let's have Miss Isle do some tracking. No problem, sir. Hey, Miss Isle! I'm here, pal! Oh. Hey, what's eating you, pal? I said over here. No, he's not happy. What's the matter? Looks like he's scared of something, sir. Oh. Ah! Alligator! I guess he's scared of the alligator, sir. Good grief. Looks like Miss Owl won't be much help to us. So what should we do, Miles? Maybe we can ask Miss Berry for help. What is it? What is it? Is there something I can do? Do you want me to teach Ali a trick? Or Ali? Actually, she probably could. No, I just need you to tell me about the condition of the courtyard during the show. Looks like it's my time to shine again. Yes, if you please. Alright, that should do it. I'm starting up the recreation now. Recreation complete. This time you can see how the courtyard was during the animal show. But how do you know what it was like? Okay, that's weird. This should be around the time the body was dropped down the well. Wow, cool. It's just like magic. It's not magic. I just recreated the scene based on the information you gave us. See? Look over there. The backstage area is missing. Well, Virginia didn't help with the preparations, so she doesn't really know how it was set up. I get it, you can't recreate what you don't have the info for, huh? I'm sorry, it's because Simon took care of setting everything up. Don't worry yourself, none. Regina Pie, Mars is the one at fault here. Why me? Mr. Edgeworth, I've recreated the show in progress, but I can also change it to how it was earlier when it was being taken down. I see, so we can examine the courtyard during the show and after the show. We can freely switch between the two different states. To change the recreation, select Little Thief on the bottom screen. Oh, that's new. Now let's begin the investigation. Investigation, prison courtyard, begin! Oh, that's new, yeah, change recreation. So, we should push you over here, Kay. Nope, you go back over there. A love story between an elephant and a tiger. I really wanted to see that. I also wanted to see Simon in action. Simon is really amazing, especially the part where he gets blown away. Blown away? That's the scene in question. At that point, the suspect in the role of the villain is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit. After being blown away, the suspect had disappeared from the stage. Are you saying the crime was committed during that time? Do you know how long he was gone from the stage? Let me think, about 15 minutes or so. It's just as Judge Courtney said. But isn't it dangerous to be blown away by an elephant? It's alright, Astique is very gentle. That's not who we're worried about here. During the first few practices, he was having trouble getting blown away. Then all of a sudden, he was able to be sent flying beautifully. He might be using some sort of device, but it's amazing. A device? Do you know anything about it? Pulleys! He gets pulled through! I have no idea. Simon handled it all by himself. Simon's stunts. The scene where Astique knocks Simon into the air employs some kind of trick. Logic added. Okay. This cart up here. Oh? This crate was empty in the recreation earlier. That's right. It was also empty in the picture I took. Oh, I'm sorry. That information is wrong. What do you mean? This crate contained Astique's food. In the morning on the day of the show, all the apples were gone. I totally forgot about that. I'm sorry. Missing apples, huh? I should make a note of it. Missing apples. Astique's feed was there the day before the show, was gone the next morning. Logic added. And apparently we have to go talk to Gumshoe. Probably get some more logic. Logic from Gumshoe? It's not tomorrow. Mr. Edgeworth, you've got that look on your face like you want to use my secret weapon, sir. Myself isn't in the mood, but I've got my fishing rod ready to go. Or would you prefer the metal detector? Ah, there we go, metal detector. One of Gumshoe's 7 secret weapons can detect metal objects. Logic added. I've never seen the detective's eyes sparkle like that. If need be, I'll let you know. For now, just stand by. Okay, logic time. So the tools, well, that's a lot of logic. Tools around the well goes to Simon's stunts. He was pulled off the stage. Mr. Keys used a device for his stunts. Maybe the tools around the well are connected to... Oh, the weight would go down the well. That's why it was unlocked. Ah, maybe the tools around the well are connected to this. Okay, I'd like to recheck the tools lying around the well yesterday. Can you change the recreation to the after the show scene? Roger. The tools lying around the well, could they have been a part of his device? It seems very likely. I wonder if it's possible to recreate the device. If you ask Mr. Keys, he should be able to tell you how the device was put together. Alright, I'll go ask him. Miss Edgeworth, asked him about it. And, did you find out how the device works? He used the rope to hang some weights on the well's pulley. The weights were suspended inside the well. Then he ran the rope through 2 more pulleys and tied the end of the rope to his own body. So he uses the force of the falling weights to send himself flying. But what's to stop the weights from falling on their own? In order to prevent that from happening, he used a stopper. Miss Berry didn't know anything about the well. That means Mr. Keys removed the stopper by himself? Correct. That's why a second rope was needed. This rope was attached to the stopper, and when it was pulled from the stage, whee! The stopper would be removed, and the weights would drop down the well. I'm definitely going to steal this idea. Desigarasu won't lose to something like this. Don't waste your time. Circus acts require extensive training. Even if you steal the device, it won't do you any good. Then I'll train as well. Before you start training, could you first update the recreation? Oh yeah, you wanted me to recreate the device that was used in the performance. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Next, I'll input the information of the device on the well. Now we can recreate the device that Simon made. Oh, so this is the device that Mr. Keys used. Simon's device data drop-down organizer. Simon sure is gutsier than he looks. Using the falling weights as the force to launch himself during his performance. Indeed, he would have to drop enough weights to exceed his own body weight in order to provide the strength needed to pull him off the stage. Oh, should to be pulled in order for the stunt to work, the weights must exceed Simon's weights. Logic added. Simon must have practiced a lot for this. Okay, but does that work? But the weight's still here. Looking at this weight, you can really feel the weight of Simon's hard work on your chest. Is that so? I don't feel anything at all. Oh, that's too bad. If this was an actual weight, I'd immediately put it on your chest, Miss Edgeworth. And I'd do everything in my power to stop you. Okay. I thought I was supposed to look at that. The guide says the weight. Oh, did I miss up? Oh, I haven't done another bit of logic yet. I missed a step. Whoopsie daisies. That, and then that, and that. We do this logic, and then we look at the weights. Aha. Or maybe not look at the weight, but mention the weights. I missed a step. Isn't it strange? What's wrong, pal? Haven't you noticed, Detective? What's strange about the weight is the weight, the number, the material, the weight. There we go, that's what I'm supposed to do. I thought I was supposed to examine the weight. It's not heavy enough. Not heavy enough. In order to lift Simon's body, more weights are required. Logic added. In order to pull up Mr. Keys' body weight. You're right, sir. But where did the rest of the weights disappear to? Looks like it's time to use my 7th secret weapon, sir. If necessary, I'll let the detective know. If we can exit out of this, because I wasn't supposed to look at it, but more logic. Steak the elephant and missing apples. She ate them all. The apples in the crate were probably eaten by a steak. But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach from a steak's nose. Are you certain? Yep. The crate was still full of apples on the night before the show. And the cat was moved to where her nose could reach it. With that many apples, it could not have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Crate of apples, somebody moved the crate of apples on the night before the show. Logic added. Prior to the show, the cart's position was already changed and the apples were all eaten. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, okay? Alright, I'll use the new info to recreate the scene. Using the info we got from Regina, I'll recreate the scene with the cat in its actual place. Recreation complete. More logic. Not heavy enough. Metal detector. Connect. Detective Gumshoe, it's time for your secret weapon. Yes, sir. I was hoping for the metal detector. I don't get many chances to use this one. Before we begin the search, let me go over how to use the metal detector, sir. This metal detector uses sound. And this meter to let you know how close you are to a metal object. When you get closer to a metal object, the metal detector will have a bigger reaction, like this. When you get the biggest reaction, give me the order to examine that spot, sir. Now let's see what we've got. It's just the metal fence. And that's basically how you search for metal objects. Just give me the instructions on where you want to search, sir. Oh, I control Gumshoe! What was that? What's here? I think we're getting warmer, but the reaction's still kind of weak, sir. Oh, okay. Whoa, what's that? Yeah, there's a reaction here too, sir. Let's check it out. Huh? I found these in the clumps of grass here, sir. These are the weights used for that hoisting device. Were these intentionally hidden? There's 4 of them in all, sir. That many weights would be enough to lift Simon. So the other weights that were used in the device were hidden. Why were they hidden over here, though? See, I'm really earning my keep today, aren't I, sir? Uh-oh. Run! Ah! Ah, the alligator! That scared me, pal. Huh? What's the matter, detective? It looks like the metal detector is reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Are you sure it isn't still just reacting to the weights? It's a different reaction, sir. And it's definitely coming from the alligator. It's gone. Looks like it's scared of us. I don't think so, Kay. Huh? If anything, I think Ali looks a little under the weather. Ali, I suppose that was what Warden Roland called it. She didn't eat any of the food that the warden gave her yesterday. I think she might have eaten something bad. So I guess the metal detector could be reacting to whatever the alligator ate. Oh, maybe she ate one of the weights. I doubt that even an alligator can ingest a 33-pound weight. But what could the metal detector be reacting to? And regardless, why were these weights hidden? Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well. Okay, I'd like you to recreate the after the show scene again. Alright, leave it to me. And off to the well. I won't rest until I've expected every nook and cranny. Select the rope, and we're deducing. With Simon's device. Is that it? Apparently, this recreation and the device we saw earlier. There is a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing. Oh yeah, there should be 2 ropes. You're right. Without it, the device won't work. I wonder what happened to it. Where did the missing rope disappear to? It's possible that we hold a piece of evidence that shows where the rope went. Huh? Which piece of evidence shows where the missing rope went? Oh! Found with the body. Ah. The rope we found with the dead body. Ah! Could it be? Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here. Then does that mean this rope was attached to the weights? However, the weight was not one of these metal weights. These weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something else. If they were replaced, then what was used as the weight? What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? If you can recall that, then the answer should be clear. The weight that was dropped in place of the weights that Mr. Keyes had prepared was... yeah, it was kinda him. What dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body. Ah! Mr. Knightley's body was used as the weight? Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keyes used the device to launch himself off the stage. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go, both the body and the rope dropped down the well. The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley. It was used to suspend him inside the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden. Ah! So that no one would find out that the weights were replaced with the body. Yep, the killer was the one who hid those weights. But Miles, wasn't Knightley boy stabbed in the neck with the murder weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well? The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item. Which item did the killer use in order to leave no traces of blood behind? The bloodstained sheet. The sheet we found near the body. It was used to wrap up the body. I see. Looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, eh? But this means that the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer? No, that's not necessarily the case. Ah, but yesterday, Judge Courtney said, if Mr. Keyes was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborate device? I guess you have a point. Mr. Keyes was only responsible for dropping the body during the show. In other words, it doesn't matter where the real killer was or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed the doubt on the people who did not watch the animal show. It's true, we also suspected Mr. Dogan. The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used a device on the well to create a fake alibi. Miss Berry, do you know when this device on the well was set up? Let me think. The day before the show, I think it was at night. We all started preparing at 9 PM. We finished at around midnight. The killer replaced the weights with the dead body afterwards. Weights switched with body, the device was set up with the body on the night before the show. Logic added. Simon's device stage updated him organizer. Did Dogan know about the device? No, even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. You can't teach a dog to suspend a body in a well. In other words, Dogan is not the killer. Okay, we're done looking at that. What am I supposed to do here? Logic. The weights with the body and the crate of apples. That might be the last bits of logic we have to do for this case. This cart was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show. I don't think it was just a coincidence. Keeping that in mind, the question now becomes, why was the cart moved? The cart used to be in front of that door. I can think of one reason why. Somebody opened that door. Alright, let's open and... the door's locked. Let's ask a guard. Hey, Mr. Guard. Yes, what is this? That was fast. You there. Where's the key to this door? The warden's in charge of it. I'll get it from her right away. The warden's in charge of the keys here? Without the warden's permission, this door can't be opened. Thank you very much. Oh. It's a circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room. On the night before the show, somebody came into this room. I wonder why they would come here. don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely to operate the circuit breakers. So someone came here to shut off the power to something? Was there anything that had its power shut off? What could have had its power shut off by the breaker? The security footage. Wherever that is. There, yeah, I thought it was that. Just need to scroll down in my guide, because we're finished with the investigation. The security camera footage had a 3-hour gap. Ah, I see. The circuit breaker for the security camera was tripped. It's highly possible. Was this the killer's handiwork? With the camera down, it'd be easier to move about. The killer would have a major advantage. I knew it. If that's the case, the killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room is... It couldn't be. Circuit breaker data jot down my organizer. Deactivating the recreation. I guess the guard wasn't fazed by the whole green stuff. Investigation complete. I'm first at the scene as always. Good morning, Mr. DeBest. Wah! You! How did you get here before me? Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you have arrived early. Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney. I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste. Unlike a certain prosecutor who was taken off the case. Oh, my apologies. I'd forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. An assistant can never be the best. You fall unlike the rest. You just say whatever you like, don't you? Let's begin our examination of the courtyard. Sebastian? Alright, I'll call the men over. That will be unnecessary. What? We've already finished the investigation of the courtyard. You've been bested. Bested? Me? Judge Courtney. Your reasoning from yesterday... Watch me shatter it to pieces. I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands? I have had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that does not involve my badge? Despite my repeated warnings, you show no signs of reflection. It seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked. Neither the fate of my badge nor the actions of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Keyes' innocence, that is all that concerns me. Your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you are willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this. The penultimate testimony, Judge Courtney's reasoning. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Elbert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning. Of course she does. Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report. Babysitting that kid must be difficult. The time of death was the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the day before the show. The cause of death remains unchanged, a stab wound 4 inches deep. Autopsy report updated in my organizer. Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well. She has not investigated the courtyard yet. That means... it seems there is a hole in your argument. You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim? Of course course I can, and I will. Okay, so we gotta go to the only one who can perform such a thing. And we present Simon's device. Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There was a device set up around the well here. What is this device of which you speak? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keys is blown away by the elephant during the show? I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage. He tied one end of a length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole place suspended up in the air? That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device. But didn't Simon Keys make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree? If Mr. Keys were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Berry. Yes? Was there anyone else who knew of the device he set up? Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it. And there you have it. I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation. Which is why I am even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just? Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that, even now. Providing support to a defense attorney despite being a prosecutor? It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy. Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keys of murder. Rebuttal. Reason for suspicion. Or arguments, either one. The body came from the courtyard. How was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention centre? Only Simon Keys could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of this crime. While Simon Keys was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? No, that does seem pretty suspicious. Mr. Keys was merely that kind of person. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it there. If that is possible, then it's also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong? I suppose I must refute her theory of evidence. Only Simon Keys could have had the opportunity? Is that what I'm looking for here? Yep, and we press. Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity? Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual. Then wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keys? The warden has shown favour to the Very Big Circus. Simon Keys is a circus member. Miss Berry's apprentice, no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility. It seems that you forgot to mention that. The word forgetter does not exist in my dictionary. Then it would be prudent for you to add this to your arguments. Mr. Keys may have been the only person who could move around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in time missing from the surveillance records. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased. Do I have proof of this gap in the surveillance records? What am I looking for here? Security footage. That's over here. Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity. Who else could have had the opportunity? The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there was a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it. If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that is possible? It's possible if you had access to this, circuit breaker. In this courtyard, we found the circuit breaker for the security camera, and it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder. What? Unfortunately, it appears that you have fallen short of your intentions. Mr. Edgeworth hasn't fallen short of anything. So can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room? Oh yeah, that's right. It was locked, wasn't it? The warden hangs onto the key, right? The breaker room has great importance even in a prison. There's no one who would be able to obtain the key so easily. Well, I can think of someone. What did you say? This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that. Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too. Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust that my logic is sound. The person who used the key to enter the breaker room is... where are they? Patricia Rowland. The murderer is... speak of the devil. Warden Rowland. Oh my, what an energetic little puppy. That's because this dog is extremely fond of sweets. He seems to detect a sweet scent on you. Oh heavens no, I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort. What the dog detects is the sweet scent of death. How poetic. However, does that not imply that I committed a murder? That's what I think. What? The warden is the murderer? Mr. Edgeworth, are you serious about your statement? Oh, how amusing. The very thought of a warden committing a murder. Stop doing that! Sounds like something out of a mystery novel. Precisely. Your reasoning is in contempt. Nothing of the sort. I did not want to believe it myself, but... based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Rowland is the murderer. The crime scene notes... has a sweet scent. The smell gave you away. As you can plainly see, someone has taken notice. This police dog. He tracked a sweet smell that came from the body. And right now, he's telling us that the same scent is also on Warden Rowland. Oh, you're a cruel one to accuse me of murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling? It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have. Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it? The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If it were only one, it could have been seen as such. It appears we have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say. Indeed, until we do, we cannot close this case. Oh my goodness, everyone with such scary faces. So I'm the only one who could have been the murderer? Don't do that! That just cannot be. Here we go, the final testimony. Patricia Rowland. Why I can't be the killer. I thought it would be an hour by now, so I'm making good time. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure, I cannot be the killer. But miss, I'll bow to you, pal. You've got to be the culprit. Oh heavens, it's not possible. I already told you, I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records? She wants us to check the records? She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information. I do hope you understand, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, check up on it if you like. That's what we need to do. Press. You did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route? Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists. It is my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. The route you used was from here. Slated to present anywhere in the courtyard, okay? The barbed wire fence. You would have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you had moved through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel. I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence. Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland. Most amusing. However, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the Warden have accessed it from the detention centre? Ah, quite right. Got you there, Miss Edgeworth. That's... If there is no record of her passing through the prison entrance... The breaker room... No, it would have not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker. An accomplice. But Warden Roland was the only one who had access. Don't let this faze you, Miles. But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. Now, Uncle Ray never said, don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it. That's all. But no matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to come up with a new possible... I am not amused, interrupting my judgment only to be silent. Without thinking, I just blurted out objection. I have to answer. Won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet. So, how does she use the breaker without leaving the detention centre? It's perfectly possible. With this method. What made it possible to turn off the breaker? Position as the Warden, she had an accomplice, time of the incident. She obviously had an accomplice. It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two? Exactly. Just what I expected from you, Miles. Yep. You had an accomplice on the prison side. Enough. I'm disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What's that, pal? You're making fun of Mr. Edgeworth? The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. If they try and go where they please, they will set off the alarm. Ah! So you've noticed. This is a prison after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too are under constant scrutiny. So why didn't anyone notice Elbird? The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker. But it's still possible that a person did it. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was? We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. This evidence shows that there was someone in the prison who could move around freely. Where is it? Ah, saw its bracelet. That is... looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners. This belongs to a certain model inmate. And it's broken. What? Just who on earth does this belong to? Frank saw it, the warden's favourite inmate. Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Golly, when you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard to guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Sir Handogan in the special cell. The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture. You could find out by simply asking Sawyer himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Sawyer and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. A real route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. Security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Sawyer switch off the breakers in the breaker room. Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment? Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland? I give in. I confess. Warden Roland! No, this cannot be! Yes, it's just as he says. Frank, Sawyer, and I were partners in crime. No way! You did it, Miss Edgeworth. Well done, Miles. At last we have the real culprit cornered. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker. But we were not responsible for Knightley's murder. What? Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, would the Goddess of Law hear my confession? The Goddess of Law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told. So who was threatening you? Sir Handogan, that assassin. Dogan? It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I will never forget that day. When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me, I have many dogs outside the prison. Dogs? Loyal dogs who obey my every command. I soon realised that what Dogan referred to were not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said. You'd better watch how you treat me, if you don't want you and your family to become dog food. I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired. Anything he desired? You don't mean the supplier. That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings? Once a week, in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers, so I could move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it. So that's the true identity of the sweet scent. The scent of perfume was a signal for Dogan's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Dogan. Of course this had to be done while Elbird was away from his cell. I'm surprised he'd never found out about it, pal. We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Meal time, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Dogan's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise. So having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured that there were no slip-ups. Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early mornings, and delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera. Oh god, I'm burping. Ugh. You have told us a great deal. The Goddess of Law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all. The secret is a supply system, so the Warden Roland was... The police have been searching for Dogan's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but no matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him. So the reason you kept on interrogating him... Yep, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself. I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail. Mail? Like his correspondence chess letters. But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. This fear is something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion. Is it really necessary to press her further than this? Is it necessary to press her further? Press further, there's no need for... Press further! Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the goddess of law isn't satisfied yet either. You mean to badger this woman further? Even if she was threatened by Dogan, this does not prove she was not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body. Do you have any evidence to support this? The body gave off a sweet scent. The scent of perfume that was used to signify delivery. Can you explain this fact? Oh, of course. Since I have made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved through the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Elbert also testified to this fact. That's it. For some reason, that well gave off a nice scent. A nice scent? I don't know what it was, but it smelled sweet, like candy. The lingering scent in the well would, of course, be picked up by anything passing through. Ah! The defence rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned. Miss Edgeworth, isn't there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go? Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. And now, court is officially adjourned. Who was that? It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Courtney Pie. Mr. Shields, are you objecting to the court adjourning? Of course not. I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn court. Do whatever you like. Hey, what are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whoa there. Calm down, Kay. Who wants some chocolate? Is this a joke? You'll have to excuse me. I just have one tiny request to make. Simon Keyes' attorney. That's right. You're the defence attorney in charge of this case, aren't you? Exactly. Did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Miss Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. Yes, that's right. That's why I thought I'd do my job a bit. Do your job? That hardly sounds like you at all. It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions. Surely you jest. What more would you expect to hear from her? Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit. My thoughts? Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. It seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out. Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to? He's trying to lure Warden Roland into testifying. Why was the supply route used to transport the body? I say it was to pin the crime on Dogan. Ah, I see. If he committed a murder here, he would be transferred to another prison, one with tighter security. And that would get rid of the troublemaker. Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that. Hey, hold on a sec. A culprit besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute. Exactly. So wouldn't it be better if the best also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields. You managed to drag Mr. DeBest into this too. Warden Roland, is this acceptable? Oh, you. It's fine. It's fine. You understand a woman's heart. Thank you, mademoiselle. Actually, I thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine darling? Of course, you may speak. Mr. Shields, awesome! Whew, that was a close shave. Thank you, Mr. Shields. No, I'm still leaving the rest to you. Remember what I said? A defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders, after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up. Right. Well then, will you listen to my story? I need a drink. And that was just a very fizzy Coke, so I might end up burping, which I apologise for, but they can over here. My story! I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. He probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case. The victim, Mr. Knightley, was it? I think it is a truly terrible thing. Taking a man's life, you mean? That's how you'd go about saying it, isn't it? If only I had been more vigilant, his death would not have happened. That's why I want to clear up his regrets. Warden Roland, how considerate. I'm sure Mr. Knightley in heaven is overflowing with gratitude. Is gratitude really what Knightley feels? Also, I don't think he's in heaven. Rebuttal, I saw it. Okay, right, I believe that the culprit is blah blah blah, I have no idea. Simply... In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death press. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the circumstances surrounding the murder. Well, I suppose it was a simple job. During his booking, I learned that the victim had some kind of injury to his neck. He couldn't turn his neck to the right. I remember him saying something like that. Booking? That's the process one undergoes before being locked up in the detention centre. It sounds like you don't really know a lot about Knightley. I only know a little. In any case, he would have been an easy target for Dogen. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The victim wouldn't even have had a chance to scream. I see, your opinion will be a very valuable reference. I have such pain trying to say valuable. Could you add those last statements to your testimony? Oh, you're making me blush. You're so C-U-T-E. I'm just kidding. I'll continue. Okay. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. At that, we present the chessboard itself. Warden Roland, you certainly are sharp-witted. Hey, enough with the titles. Call me Patty. P-A-T-T-Y. However, there's something you were a little too knowledgeable. I don't want to say where. Oh, embarrassed. You're such an inexperienced child, Edgeworth, dear. Fight on, Miss Edgeworth. You said you didn't really know much about Knightley. If that's the case, how did you know about the chisel inside the chessboard? Oh, of course, the entrance check. Enough with the poor excuses. The entrance check. The chessboard wasn't something Knightley brought with him. It was brought to him later by Mr. Keyes. He didn't even have it when he arrived here. That's... my mistake. I meant the parcel check. Even if we assume that, there are still many suspicious points. Why wasn't such a chisel immediately confiscated? Aye! Judge Courtney, did you tell anyone about the trick to this chessboard? I did not. If no information about our investigation was leaked, then how did you find out? You could not have examined this during the entrance check or parcel check. Certainly, someone in the warden's position would never have let a chisel slip by. Exactly. So answer this, Warden Roland. When and how did you learn about the chessboard secrets? In that case, I shall answer for you. It is because... I give up, Edgeworth, dear. It is as you say. Huh? I interrogated Knightley. That's how I learned about the chessboard. But please believe me, I didn't kill anyone. Enough. It would appear that we have uncovered some vital information. I'll ask you to testify once more, if that's alright with you. Prosecutor Edgeworth? No objections here. Thank you, Edgeworth, dear. I'll do my best. Don't do that! Well then, Warden Roland, I trust there will be no lies from here on out. Her pool of lies is slowly running dry. Soon I will bring out her true nature. My story part 2. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation. I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals. Mr. Knightley, yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you. She's piling lies on top of lies, not realising that it only tightens the noose around her neck. You speak with the new prisoners, you say? That's right. I'm glad you understand. Your testimony is not solid evidence. It requires more than just understanding. Well then, Prosecutor Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. After our talk, you went right back to his cell, I assure you. I've got to press that. If he really returned to his cell, there is no way he would be a corpse now. I know you're suggesting that I killed him during the interrogation, but I couldn't possibly have had a motive to kill Knightley, could I? Dogan was the only one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. She only hated Dogan. Please add that statement to your testimony. Dogan was the one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. Well, that's where you're wrong, Sonny Jim. Where is it again? I always forget where this would be. Nightmare, there it is. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to have a look at this. Looks like a record of a chess game. Is there something wrong with it? This was discovered in the victim's cell. It was Knightley's memo. Warden Roland, you also discovered this note in the very same place. And not just in Knightley's cell, but in Dogan's too, correct? What are you? Don't say that you don't know about the chessboard in the special cell. After all, you would have kept an eye on Dogan's actions, down to the smallest details. No, to be more precise, it wasn't Dogan that you needed to keep an eye on. The Warden was searching for Mr. Dogan's henchmen. From the start, I found it strange that the Warden interrogated the prisoners personally. Since he used his henchmen to threaten harm to her family, Warden Roland interrogated Dogan to expose them. So, what are you saying? As you inspected Dogan's mail, you must have known that he played correspondence chess. Ah! And then Knightley appeared, with a chess memo in hand. We deduced that he and Dogan were connected. You must have arrived at the same conclusion as well. However, you went one step too far in your reasoning. You thought Knightley was one of Dogan's henchmen, who had come to kill you. So that's why you interrogated Knightley, boy. If the boss won't crack, go after his henchmen. In addition, you discovered something when you were interrogating him. Inside his chessboard, you found a portable chisel. The murder weapon! To Warden Roland, the chisel was a symbol of Dogan, and that was the final straw. You believed Knightley was one of Dogan's henchmen, and you killed him. It seems there will be no rebuttal. Judge Courtney, your verdict. Though it is incredibly unfortunate, there seems to be no room for doubt. I shall announce my verdict. For the murder of Horace Knightley... Oh, here we go. She's got a rebuttal. Twice my sacred verdict has been interrupted. Who was that? Warden Roland? Oh, how strange. You guys really don't understand anything. It would seem the one who doesn't understand is you. Me? Oh, I understand. One thing very well. There is a huge contradiction in your logic, Miss Edgeworth. Huh. Once she's cornered, she starts spouting nonsense. Pay no heed, Judge Courtney. Your verdict. I'm interested in hearing what the Warden has to say. What? I thought so. I just have one thing I want to say. One? Please take a good look at the autopsy report. The autopsy report? The one I brought with me? I heard exactly what you said earlier, Justine darling. You said the wound was 4 inches deep. 4 inches? No way! Could that tiny chisel really have made a wound 4 inches deep? Impossible! How could I have made such an error? Oh, forgive me, goddess of law. Well, I believe that overturns your hypothesis. What will you do now, Miss Edgeworth? What will I do? It'll be alright, pal. Miss Edgeworth always... Whoa, hey now, he's gone all white. Hey, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? Isn't there something you can do, pal? Do that turnabout thing. Make some earth-shattering objection. Uncle Ray's a hard worker, but without decisive evidence, we're just whipping a dead horse here. Does that mean it's hopeless? The true killer is Warden Rowland. If it's not her, then nothing that's happened fits. But the chisel isn't the murder weapon? Are there any other sharp objects here? There are still many mysteries remaining in this case. However, we do not have the evidence to solve them at this present time. We have no choice but to continue this battle in the courtroom.
Objection!
That would just give the killer a chance to destroy evidence. Are you mocking the court? No, I didn't mean anything like that. You look perplexed, Miles. Thought of anything yet? The chisel is not the murder weapon. In that case, what is? It's no use. We're back where we started. No objections, Prosecutor Edgeworth? By the way, any baseless statements will be punished accordingly. There. It's no good. I can't think of anything. I need more time. I regret to say, I have no... No, Miss Edgeworth, remember what Mr. Shields said. If we give up, Simon will... Have you forgotten that sad look on his face? He was the one who suffered most from Knightley's death. If we can't save him, who will? Besides, Simon believes in us, so we can't give up. Okay. Miles, looks like you found a good partner. It's like little Kay says, whenever you're backed into a corner, think of your client. Keep fighting until the very end. Isn't that the feeling you're getting? Gregory, your old man, no matter what trouble he faced, he would always turn things around and save his clients. You've got his blood in you, right? In that case, you're the only one who could turn this around. Judge Courtney, the look in your eyes has suddenly changed. If you do intend to speak, you'd better be prepared to face the consequences. Your logic thus far has been misplaced numerous times. If this were to happen again, I'll consider you unfit to call yourself a prosecutor, and you will hand over your badge. That's right. My reasoning about this case has indeed been misplaced numerous times. Have I made a grave miscalculation? Wait, my logic is... misplaced? Still silence. I cannot condone this waste of time. Well then, Miss Edgeworth! Miss Edgeworth! I will announce my verdict. No, you won't. That's it. I have to turn my logic around. My logic isn't misplaced. It's been misled. This court finds the defendant, Simon Keyes... There we go. Third time's a charm, but not for her. Isn't it a little early to hand down a verdict? I actually think it's rather late. Don't you agree, Justine, darling? Enlighten us. What? Try to remember. The eyewitness account about his dog and his absence from the animal show. When I first heard that information, my suspicion immediately fell on Dogan. I'm amazed you take such pride in retelling your previous failings. But was that not the killer's aim? What if we assumed that was their intention from the start? Of course the chisel served the same purpose. Knightley's body was stabbed in the same spot with multiple sharp objects. This shows that he was stabbed with the chisel after the real murder weapon was removed. By soaking the chisel in Knightley's blood, the killer wanted to mislead us into thinking the chisel was a murder weapon. Why? That's because... Why did the killer want us to think the chisel was the murder weapon? It was the murder weapon to get Knightley expelled to get Dogan expelled. Warden Roland, you made use of this chisel's image. Chisel's image? What are you trying to say? Mr. De Best, when you see this chisel, what does it suggest to you? Huh? Something like... Dogan is the killer, right? Now do you understand? That was the Warden's aim. Ah, she wanted to suspect the person with the chisels. Indeed, that was her plan from the very beginning. To make Sirhan Dogan out to be the killer. I understand your logic. It is true the Warden did not think kindly of Dogan. But you understand, don't you? This alone does not prove she is the killer. As I thought, it's not enough. The remaining chance is for me to find the real murder weapon. If you have no more evidence, I believe this conversation is over. I could prove it if I found the real murder weapon. It doesn't matter what you say, we did a clean sweep of this place. It is as Sebastian says. In the end, we could not find any weapons. In other words, such proof is impossible. No, the murder weapon must still be somewhere in the prison. As long as this exists. The security gate? Ah, you remember its name after all. Are you mocking me? It's because of those things. That you can't take metal objects in or out of this place. Ah! Right, as long as those security gates exist, the murder weapon should still be here. That also means no weapon could have been brought into the prison. In the end, we're back to the same mystery after all. I need a drink, I'm losing my voice. Judge Courtney? Prosecutor Edgeworth, surely you've realised, if the real murder weapon is still in the prison, one must also consider how it got there in the first place. The chisel was concealed within the chessboard, but the chisel is not the real murder weapon, which means the real murder weapon must have been smuggled in somehow. The way it was smuggled in... Can you prove that? God, my throat. It's talking for an hour and 20 minutes straight. How Warden Roland brought the weapon into the prison. You have evidence transferred from the precinct. Yep, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogan. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... that's it. She could have used that. This shows another way a weapon could be brought into the prison. Dogan's bells. That one. Yesterday Dogan said this. Yes, my bells. There are only 2 in the world. Only 2? They're custom made, attached to my knife and Anubis' collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. Alas, one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. It's possible the murder weapon was brought in as confiscated evidence. What? Dogan's knife was confiscated and stored on the premises. Furthermore, a bell was attached to the knife. It can't be! The bell on that chisel. Exactly. The killer took it from the knife and reattached it to the chisel. But the only fingerprints on this chisel are Knightley's. The killer probably wore gloves when he made the switch. She made the chisel out to be the murder weapon by attaching Dogan's bell. And in doing so, made Dogan appear to be the culprit. Furthermore, the handling of the set of evidence that this bell originally belonged to was only possible for someone with the proper authority. Who, sir? Who had that authority? Why don't we ask the warden what she thinks? You can find bells anywhere. Anyone could have attached it, right? I see, so you don't know. These bells are Dogan's trademark. There are only 2 in the world. What? And so attaching the bell would naturally make you the killer. Do you have evidence that I have the knife? You don't, do you? Of course, I understand. In that case, Mr. DeBest, I'd like to request an investigation, immediately. Huh? But if you find it, it'd be problematic for me. It doesn't matter now. It's necessary that we reveal the truth. You're a prosecutor, are you not? Well, even if you say that, curse this useless prosecutor. If only I still had investigative rights. Excuse me. Besides, we can't investigate without the warden's permission, right? There's no way she would approve. We have no choice but to investigate ourselves. If you don't have evidence, there's no use in continuing this conversation. The goddess of law does not smile upon those with no evidence. This will have to be continued in the courtroom. Not good. If we give the warden more time here, she'll definitely destroy the evidence. It seems like I have no choice but to raise an objection and stall for time. But I don't have anything definite. Is that really acceptable? Is he really like me to do something this reckless? No, not good. Now is not the time for hesitation. Right now, I'm not a prosecutor, but an attorney's assistant. I need to protect my clients. I'm the only one who can save him now. In that case... Even if it's a 1 in a million chance, I have to take it. It's sink or swim. Should I raise an objection? Objection! It almost feels like I've turned into a certain bluffing defense attorney. But right now I can't come to a standstill here.
Objection!
Hold it! Prosecutor Edgeworth. What now? I just realised something. What would that be? Pray tell. Naturally, the whereabouts of the real murder weapon. Duggan's knife. But Miss Edgeworth, is that really true? Yes, though it is a lie. I find that hard to believe. This isn't a bluff, is it? You underestimate me. The word bluff does not exist in my dictionary. This is bad for my heart. There's no way you could know, because such a thing doesn't even exist. Well then, could you enlighten us? Where is the real murder weapon? Think. Somewhere the police didn't look. A blind spot in this animal-filled prison. A hiding place the warden would have complete confidence in. Hiding place? Come to think of it. It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. The same method? No. It couldn't be, could it? But there aren't that many ways to hide things from an investigator's eyes. There, either one. Prosecutor Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting? It's possible, but I'm taking a big gamble here. The place where the real murder weapon is hidden is here. Okay, we've got to be careful here because it's got to be like that. I think it's that. See, I hope this works. There. Oh, it worked. Good. Here in the courtyard? Indeed. That's not enough information. Please show us in more detail. Where's the real murder weapon hidden? Oh, I need to use my mouse for this. Just to go over here. That's it. Back then. Huh? What's the matter, detective? It looks like the metal detector is reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Of course, that's why the metal detector reacted. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to take a look at this. The chisel. Wasn't that just a fake murder weapon? Duggan hid this chisel inside his dog's mouth, and the real murder weapon was hidden in very much the same way. The real murder weapon is in the pond inside the alligator. What? We can confirm that the metal detector reacted to the alligator. Judge Courtney, please have the insides of the alligator examined. I give my consent. We'll have to call the veterinarian. There. I can make that little girl open her mouth. Can I help? Yes, go ahead. Say ah. Warden Roland. Discovering the real murder weapon will settle this matter once and for all. Why don't you do the honourable thing and confess now? What would I have to confess? In that case, you can just wait for your fate to be sealed. Ah, we found it, sir. Just where you said it would be. It's over. Patricia Rowland, the real murder weapon is none other than Dogan's knife. And the one who murdered Horace Knightley can only be you. Dogan was the evil one. I didn't do anything wrong. He was completely reasonable. That guy was one of Dogan's henchmen. Him. If only he had never come to my home. I could at least still be happy. My special paradise. He ruined it. All of it. Him. That no-good assassin. Him. Oh god! Oh, they were all dogs! Oh my god! Of course she has giant boobs. Did not suspect them all to be dogs. That was the most surprising thing about this case, was the fact that she was wearing all dogs. Anyway, March 28th, 12:34 PM, Detention Centre hallway. Mr. The Best of the Best, we have the results. The best of the best? Looks like even the forensic officers have it tough. We found traces of Knightley's blood on Dogan's knife. It was just like you said. You're the best, Mr. The Best. Alright, good job. But don't stop there. Keep the praise coming. Yes, sir. You're so incredible. It brings tears to my eyes. From sorrow? Well done, Sebastian. Next comes the follow-up investigation. Huh? What are you talking about, Justine? Hasn't the case been solved already? We have not yet confirmed if Knightley truly was one of Dogan's henchmen. There's also a chance that Warden Roland jumped to conclusions. Oh! That is the remaining uncertainty in this case. Anyways, let's keep investigating. Hey, you there, come with me. Since I'm the best, the truth will appear before me first. When that moment arrives, make sure you don't miss it. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it, witnessing your first-rate ability. Let's go! We live in troubling times, wouldn't you agree? The would-be assassin of the president was found murdered in the prison. Knightley had not planned to assassinate the president. The truth is not as vital as you seem to believe it to be. Not to the world, and not to the law. That can't be right. Believe what you will, however. As long as Prosecutor Edgeworth remains a prosecutor, it is an inescapable reality. My phone made a noise. A prosecutor is not someone who demands a guilty verdict. That is what I believe. Those are merely your values. The law is not the plaything of any one person. If you will not submit to that, you will do well to prepare for the consequences. I can't speak. What's that supposed to mean, pal? Don't tell me you're gonna... Now then, this is where I must take my leave. Prosecutor Edgeworth. Bye! Judge Courtney is right. The law should not serve any one person's desires. However, if the truth is bent as a result of that, can that really be called justice? Hey, Simon! Hi, Simon! Boss. What happened? They said you could come out already. Well, honestly, I don't know for sure. All of a sudden, they were like, you're free to go, and you should thank Miss Edgeworth. Well, that's because he found out who the real murderer was. Really? You did? Miss Edgeworth. No, no way! Even if you glare at me like that, it's useless. I'm innocent after all. You can't make me guilty. Simon. You should thank him, you know. You're right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you too. Good grief. Mr. Defense Attorney, can I ask you just one more question? Yes, you may, but I'm not a defense attorney. I thought that Knightley and I were friends. No, I mean best friends. I always thought we were. You don't think so anymore? Well, I'm just wondering. There were some things I had no idea about. Like how he could hate someone enough to kill them. That's why... Maybe he never trusted me either? Simon, that's not true. You're lying, because if I had known, I could have stopped him. I would have told him he had no need to be angry with anyone. Mr. Keyes, I don't think he disliked you either. Let's show him proof that Knightley trusted him. Chessboard. That's what I gave to... Knightley hid a chisel inside it. Most likely to aid in his escape. Escape? He used me? He trusted in you. He knew you'd bring it to him without looking into it and without question. And in doing just that, you were caught up in everything. Knightley, you idiot! Looks like he gets it. Simon's not as dumb as he looks, after all. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Was that supposed to be a compliment? No, I'll be strong. I'll become a splendid wild animal tamer, for Knightley's sake. Excellent, that's the spirit. I don't like how he has like one eye open like that. That's horrible. Stop it. No. I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show. Maximilian! That's his name! Maximilian Galactica! God, seeing an actual picture of him reminded me of his name. Maximilian Galactica. That's his name. I'll also be performing in it. The Very Big Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages. Wow, that sounds like fun. Let's go, Miss Edgeworth. Well, I'll think about it. Well, we need to get back to practicing right away. You'll be with Regent today. What? The tiger? No way! He'll be fine. He's a good boy. Just don't put your head in his mouth whilst wearing pepper. No way. There's no way it will be fine. Please cut me a break, boss! There they go. But man, bravo! You really put on a good show today, Miles. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shields. Without your help, she might have gotten away. Not to mention allowing us to continue the investigation. Oh man, cut it out already. You're gonna make me blush. I never know when you are being serious. Uncle Ray is always serious. So how was it, Miles? How did it feel to be defense attorney? To save people? Defense attorney. But that really took me back. It was just like being next to your old man again. It's been a while since I felt this good. It was... well, it's somewhat difficult to say it was a good thing. Come on, Miles. Are you sure you don't want to be a defense attorney? What? You know, pick up where your father left off. Don't you want to save people like he did? What are you talking about, pal? Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecutor. Is it really that unusual for a prosecutor to become a defense attorney these days? Unusual isn't the problem here. Hey, don't be so upset. It's normal, you know? Normal. It's not. Normal, pal. You'd all make for a powerful defensive team. Mr. Shields, I'm a prosecutor. And Uncle Ray's a defense attorney. That's why I'm being serious about this. Well, that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop by anytime if you have a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Eat free, live free in prison. That's just not true. Follow in my father's footsteps. Me? Become a defense attorney? Wear blue? Oh, here we go, childhood. I'm going to become a defense attorney just like my dad! Gregory. Should I become a defense attorney? Like my father? The end! That was the end of the Imprisoned Turnabout! Again, another long episode. It's the testimonies that take so long nowadays. Testimonies are so long. I remember back in the first game of Maz Edgeworth, testimonies really weren't that long, but these ones, so long. It's just all the dialogue. The investigation parts, I got through them really quick. I got through all the investigation parts in 45 minutes. The rest of the time was flipping... Well, I guess actually, no. 45 minutes, again, was the testimonies, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Oh, I'm dying over here. I've got a cough and... Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was the end of the Imprisoned Turnabout. I wish I could show you, like, the image for the next case, but I can't because I like to stop recording and check to make sure the game is actually... Actually, no, I could actually... No, actually I could because I actually have all the save files. Oh, no, that's not... No, it don't matter. No. I just figured it actually might take me straight to the next case, but anyway, forget that. Next time, we'll start the Inherited Turnabout, which we'll see what that has to do with the Inherited Turnabout, but I get why people call this Prosecutor's Path now, because it seems like he's going to have a choice. He's going to stay a prosecutor, going to become a defense attorney. We'll have to see. What he chooses in the end. So, yeah, next time, the Inherited Turnabout, episode 3. There's only 5 episodes in this game, I found out, but just the parts are so long. Anyway, thank you for watching. I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.